What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to address all the African Americans who shun or shame African Americans who serve in the military or in the police and security forces, because they believe that African Americans who serve in the forces, whether it be law enforcement or whether it be the military, are somehow traitors to the community and somehow complicit in the activities of the institutionalized racism and oppression of its people. What I want you to understand is you can't change anything unless you're on the inside. Just like as an individual, you can't change yourself unless you change what's on the inside. And that goes for all institutions that we are a part of, including the military and the police forces. What you guys need to understand is the people that you see in uniforms, whether they be doing crowd control, whether they be on the beat, protecting and serving their communities as police officers, or whether they be overseas fighting America's wars or guarding America's interests. Understand that those very same troops that you look at as traitors are inside the machine trying to change it from within. You may not see it as a civilian, as you're on the other side of the line, but you got to understand, on this side of the line, right, which I obviously have a whole career experience in, the black African Americans and the other Africans who participate in America's law enforcement and security and police forces, we are fully aware and understand the systems that we work for and work with. We are fully aware of their institutionalized racism that's baked in these systems, and the only way we can change it is by taking over these institutions and changing it from the inside. As far as the military and security professional services are concerned, it's the unions that are controlled by white folks who make it so when a white police officer shoots someone, you would think that the police department could just fire them or destroy their career or at least arrest them. But what you got to understand is the union has power to protect that police officer. Therefore, that's why a lot of white police officers, when they do things, they don't get reprimanded or they don't get in trouble the way you expect them to, or they're not held accountable, because that union, unions are created by white people in order to disenfranchise black people and disenfranchise other people of color. It's an organization of white people who have gathered together and said, we will fight against the corporations on behalf of the little white guy in the middle, and middle management. So that's what happened. So when a black person on the inside tries to fight the institutionalized racism, that black person has to fight the union as well, which is a very powerful organization that has the ability to also ruin careers and blackball people within these institutions. As far as the military is concerned, military personnel, they're not citizens. They don't have the complete rights of American citizens. When you are in the military, you are the property of the U.S. government. Therefore, you're limited on the things you're able to say and do as a military professional. But there are ways to change things from within inside by taking up the positions that are usually held by those same white races. So you must understand that it's important to have African Americans participate in law enforcement, security services, and the military in order to pad the effectiveness of white race soldiers and white supremacists with low self-esteem that join these institutions in order to have some sort of power against black folks. Okay, me myself, I've encountered racism and I've battled racism in the military and in police and security contracting services, because I've served this country for 20 years straight on the private sector and in the government sector and in the quasi in between. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. And let me tell you something. You much rather, as a black person, get pulled over by an African American than a white person. There are many Afghan children and Iraqi children that are alive right now because it was a black guy behind the scope, that it was a black guy behind the machine gun, that it was a black guy controlling the drone rather than a white person. Trust and believe, there are tens of thousands of people around the world that are alive because it was a black person that had the power of life and death in their hands versus a white person. And those things, those small and not talked about in the public sphere, make a big difference in many people's lives globally. I myself stopped an Asian man, a very whitewashed Asian man, from killing an Afghanistani boy. I stopped it from happening. I've also stopped a white boy from shooting an innocent Afghanistani boy as well. You see, I've been in the places where white people would dive into their savage barbaricness and just do things because they have the ability to do it. And I've been there to stop them from doing it. And so there are people alive today because of my actions, and I know it to be a fact. And this is the same story if you ask many different veterans that has been in combat, that has been in these places, that have been in places that you don't know about. There are many police officers walking around the street right now, serving their communities, that have saved the lives of children that don't even know it, that have saved the lives of men and women in situations, and those men and women don't even know it, because we are doing the work from the inside, fully aware that when people see us in uniform, they see the enemy. They don't see the human being behind it. Because you must understand, when police, law enforcement professionals, and military personnel take off that uniform, they're just another black person to every other person in uniform. You must understand that. If a police officer is not wearing his uniform, they are subject to the very same scrutiny, subject to the very same oppression as the rest of the black community. So we fully understand what's going on. And it saddens me that our African American community, our black community, don't understand that context when it comes to African people serving, when it comes to black people serving. You much rather have us there than them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small little presentation here honoring those law enforcement officers, security professionals, and military personnel throughout history who have been the most patriotic Americans, who embodies what America is supposed to be about, and who are the most fiercest warriors on the battlefield. Y'all always hear me say we are the gods of war. I mean that. There are no human being on this planet that's better at war than we are. And that's the truth. There's not a single human being on this planet that is better at war, at killing and destroying and overwhelming an opposition in mutual combat than us African people. And we are legends among the military community around the world. We've always been legends throughout history. And that's why a lot of us were sought after by great empires throughout history, because of our prowess in war. So anyway, without further ado, this is my small little montage essay story honoring the military professionals that have to fight the battle between their own people who see them as tools against them, that see them as cogs in the machine, that see them as coons, as Uncle Toms, and on the other hand, fighting against white supremacy within the institutions that mean to destroy the communities that they love and care about so much. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Iron in our blood, fire in our spirit. Brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Africa, hear me tonight. This story is not a whisper. It is a roar across centuries, the first blood, in 1770, before America even called itself free. A black man, Crispus Attucks, fell in Boston streets, the first to die for liberty, a liberty that did not include his people. Yet his blood baptized this land in African sacrifice. And from that day forward, the African warrior has never left the battlefield, the Civil War. By 1865, nearly 200,000 black men wore Union blue. They dug trenches, they fired rifles, they carried flags. At Fort Wagner, the 54th Massachusetts charged into death. Sergeant William Carney, bleeding, lifted the flag and shouted, "The old flag never touched the ground." But still, their pay was less, their rations worse. Their white comrades spat slurs, and their own neighbors whispered, "Why die for a union that won't save you?" The answer, if we are not in the fight, the victory will erase us. Buffalo Soldiers. After the war came the Buffalo Soldiers, 9th and 10th Cavalry, 24th and 25th Infantry. They carved roads. They fought battles. They stormed San Juan Hill. Roosevelt got the credit. Black troopers paid the price. And still, the community asked, why wear the uniform of the same America that chains us? The answer, because inside this uniform, we gain skill, we gain pay, we gain a place in the very machine that once excluded us. World War I, 1918, the Harlem Hellfighters, 191 days on the front lines, longer than any regiment. Henry Johnson, wounded and alone, fought off 20 Germans with knife and fists. France gave them medals. America gave them Jim Crow. And their people asked, why fight for France when Georgia still hangs us? The answer, because if we are not in uniform, we will never be counted in America's victory. World War II, the greatest war, the world at stake, the Tuskegee Airmen, red tails in the sky, 15,000 sorties, bombers escorted, enemies destroyed, Dory Miller, a cook at Pearl Harbor. When fire rained from the sky, he dragged the wounded to safety and fired a gun he had never been trained to use. 761st Tank Battalion, Patton's Black Panthers. They crushed German lines into the Reich. 6888th Women's Battalion, 17 million letters cleared in half the time. They kept soldiers alive with words from home, but still, Jim Crow in the barracks, segregation in the mess halls, suspicion from their own back home. Why fight for democracy abroad when IT dies a T home? The answer, because if we do not fight, then white supremacy will fight alone, and America's guns cannot be held without our hands upon them. Korea and Vietnam. Korea, the first integrated war. Cornelius Charlton, William Thompson, medals of honor paid in blood. Vietnam, black men drafted at higher rates, sent to the front lines. Milton Olive III, just 18, fell on a grenade and saved his brothers. Lawrence Joel, wounded, kept treating his men until the last was safe. And still, at home they cried, no justice, no peace. Why die for them? The black soldier's heart was torn because his community was right, and yet he knew, without black NCOs, without black medics, without black officers, our sons would have no protection but indifference. The truth, we stayed in uniform not to betray our people, but to shield them inside the very system that would have devoured them. Modern era. Today we hold command. Colin Powell, Charles Q. Brown, Lloyd Austin, secretaries, chairmen, generals, and still, racism lurks, disparities in justice, questions from our own. So the African-American soldier fights a double war, one against America's enemies, one against America's racism. And through it all, we stand in the breach. Because if rifles must be carried, black hands must be there. If commands must be given, black voices must be heard. If lives are on the line, black leadership must be present to protect our sons and daughters, to stop harm before it comes. To say in the fire, not today, not my people, not while I stand. Closing. The African-American soldier has never been a traitor, not a pawn, not a fool. We are guardians. We are warriors. We are a people who chose the battlefield, not because America deserved us, but because our people deserve protection. Our blood is in every war, our fire in every victory. And the story of America's greatness cannot be told without Africa's children. We are not guests in the American military. We are its spine. We are its heartbeat. We are its proof of promise. And we will never be erased.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.